We are live.
Does that make you nervous, Ian?
I think the college football playoffs might make you nervous. Going live doesn't make me nervous.
How would that be? Because I feel like the last time you were on a builder's call, we had a healthy discussion about college football allegiance. And fair point, Michigan did make the playoffs and Alabama did not. But are we going to talk about the actual results on the field and how that shook out?
What I know, Todd, is that the results on the field led to one of our teams being conference champion and the other one not. I'm just looking at data. I'm a pioneer guardian. I look at stats,
Right.
I look at data. The data shows us being undefeated in the regular season and another team not being undefeated. Who didn't roll?
Did Michigan or
well
did
enough.
Michigan not get beat in their own playoff game by a team that didn't even win their own conference?
This is true. I can't dispute that. I can't dispute that.
Man, I enjoy.
But at least that team got in the playoff by not winning their conference. They still made it. They still had a good enough resume to make it. Whereas another team that didn't win their conference didn't make the playoffs. So
This is true.
I mean, yeah, 5th place ain't bad.
This place, man, you're a good sport. We've had a lot of fun with this. Actually, in large part, buddy, the last time you were so kind to host a builder's call, we had a tremendous reach back to the home office with just gratitude and so many nuggets learned from you and your agency. And you're actively involved behind the scenes, working with B-dubs and constantly trying to look for ways to improve the onboarding process, the recruiting process, how we develop unlicensed agents into lead takers and consistent writers. And your organization continues to be certainly a shining example of what's possible, but also want to recognize the leadership that you provide and willingness to give back and continuing to try to really hone in what we're doing as an organization here at Symmetry to create a very A to Z standard onboarding process that we can all follow and hopefully enjoy the success. So all jokes aside, Ian, appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate your leadership and everything that you do. My college football team is clearly superior to yours, so there's no need to spend time debating that. But what I will not debate is everybody wants to hear from you on how you're building and how you're turning those writers or those new recruits into writers, much more than they want to hear me talk about the superiority of my football team. With that, my friend,
that one, didn't you? You had to slip that in there for the 4th time. I think you know, where's Brian Williamson and Mike Resno when I need him. So I need some backup here.
right?
Well, thank you,
That
Todd.
should tell you everything you need to know. Brian Williamson did not show up this morning because he knew this was a fight he couldn't win. No, but seriously, buddy, appreciate you. Want to turn it over to you and break out my pencil and my paper and take notes as well, buddy. And everybody, please stay tuned. You're in for a treat. Take some good notes. Ian is going to drop some truth nuggets, and then we've got a really special national call today as well. You're going to get to hear from Ayers and Cicely Newsom, the recipe for $100,000 a month from our good buddy Rex Knight Jr. And Texas Ranger Rick Weaver will be on with maybe a special announcement that's going to blow your socks off. So, Ian, over to you, buddy.
That's exciting. Well, thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. Ian Graham here, Managing Vice President with Symmetry Financial Group. I am direct to my best friend and who was the best man at my wedding, Sterling Gatling, part of the Skeen, Alderson, Cloutier, Jimmy Spieldenner, Brian Delaney, Edward Pritchett hierarchy. And just very grateful, Todd, to be here in the company and what Brandon, Casey, and Brian and all of you in the home office have done to create the opportunity for us to go out there and just crush it. It's just an amazing system here. So I appreciate that. And thank you for the honor and privilege of being on the call today. I got a couple of guests, a couple of my leaders on with me as well. We're really excited to dig in with you all out there in Symmetry Nation. about how to help new recruits engage to turn them into new writers and SNA and beyond. And so we're going to discuss some best practices around that, and just some techniques that we're using in the Graham Agency to help them do exactly that, and really take people from resume over to writer, from resume to writer. And it all starts, guys and gals, with in order to find quality recruits, and we're looking for quality, but in order to find quality recruits, it's through quantity recruiting. So we need to do enough work on the front end to find those right people. We're not looking to stick mud against the wall, though. We're not looking to hire everyone and their half brother and see who works and who doesn't. We're really looking for a right mutual fit through an interview process where we get to learn about them, they get to learn about us, to determine, is there a good mutual fit to move forward and work together to help them accomplish their goals. And when we do that, when we slow down to speed up through that interview process and make sure it's a right fit, the right fit person who we hire in will engage faster and on a higher level because they're a right fit. And so we're not looking to hire in just for recruiting purposes and get some tally marks. I'm hiring in a lot of people. Let's hire in a lot of right people who see this as the opportunity that it is, who want to make a difference in their life. And those right people are going to engage faster because they're right people. They're hungry, they're motivated, they're looking to get results. And so we're going to do that. We're going to talk with a couple of my leaders here today about establishing clear expectations, getting verbal commitments. We're actually not going to hit on that too much. Jared Gillum did an amazing job talking about that last week on the Builders Call on getting a verbal commitment. It's really the foundation of that coach-player relationship moving forward, and then staying accountable to those commitments to make sure that we have a relationship of accountability between mentor and mentee. To introduce the two leaders that I want to bring on with me today, though, just a couple of quick shout outs on them. As an agency, the Graham Agency had 75 new writers last year in 2022, which was 53% growth over 21, which we're real happy about. And the two main catalysts individually for that were these two individuals. The first gentleman, Mr. Kip Kemboy, he had 17% of all of our new writers as an agency. 17% were direct to him, not including his entire organization. In 2022, he went from becoming an AO all the way up to AD, and so he's an agency director now with the company as of about 9 months ago or so. But 17% of all of our new writers were direct to him. The second individual I'm going to bring on and leader within our organization is Misty Cintron. 24% of all of our new writers were direct to her. And so they're two of the top individuals in terms of the being responsible for a lot of the growth that we saw, a lot of that 53% growth we saw in our master organization. Misty started with us under 2 years ago. It was spring of 21. And last year she hit agency owner as well as elite producer with the company. So we got agency director Kip Kemboy. We have agency owner, elite producer Misty Cintron. Misty, I want to start with you on this, and really during the interview process, it's important to set those right expectations up front and develop that relationship, that working relationship, because without clear expectations, people are right. We know confused minds don't buy. Well, confused minds also don't sell. And so setting those right expectations on how to get results. So can you talk to us? Can you introduce yourself and then just talk to us a little bit about your posture during the interview process and that expectation setting with the candidates who you're interviewing?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Ian. First of all, I'm Misty Cintron, direct to Ian Graham, the one and only, who's part of the Trey Autosur Cloutier, Delaney Pritchett, and so grateful, literally grateful for this opportunity. So when I am interviewing, I am very clear on my expectations for a couple of reasons. I don't want them coming in with false expectations. I don't want to spend my time trying to develop an agent who isn't going to be here 6 months down the road. So expectations on both ends are very laid out. When I interview somebody, if they have to get licensed, I'm very clear, like, look, I'm trying to fill a position. I'm looking for my start date. It's always 2 weeks out. They should be able to crank through that course within 2 weeks, because again, I want people who are driven and motivated. If they're dragging their feet getting through the course, probably not what I'm looking for, because they're dragging their feet. So I lay it out. This is the start date I'm looking for. So I'm going to send you the links to get enrolled in the course today. Go ahead, get in there today, like start knocking it out. Like I always tell them, I have one girl who knocked it out in 3 days. She took her license, her test on the 5th day. So you can knock this out in a week, but you have 2 weeks, but don't wait till the last minute, because you also have to schedule your test, get your fingerprints, and then apply for your license. And that takes a minute as well. So I'm setting that expectation that I need you to move through forward. What other job can you go and say, yeah, I'll start when I'm ready to start. I'm looking to hire you. So I want you to be ready on the start date that I'm looking for. That way I can try to get everybody in on the same start date, so I can onboard on the same start date too.
Love it. Love it. So it's just setting that clear communication that you're looking for someone who's hungry, right? You're looking for the motivator. You're not looking for someone who's going to drag their feet. That's very clear to them. And you're attracting some very right people. We won't go into that yet, but we'll be on some calls in the future with those right people that you have attracted, because you're speaking at a level that right people are attracted to. And so you're an attractive recruiter because of that. I want to come back to you in a minute, Misty. But I want to go over to you, Kip, and would love for you to discuss. Okay, so we have someone who's moving through this course. They've given us their verbal commitments, that we've decided there's a good mutual fit. How are we helping them get up to speed right away and get rolling fast?
Right. And I appreciate you having me on, Ian. First off, Kip Kemboy, Director Ian Graham in the Trey Allison Cloutier, Spildenner, Delaney Pritchett hierarchy. Again, super grateful for that. The verbiage we use, we know SNA is 6 apps in 6 weeks, but we like to talk about 6 apps right away. So what I do with my team is I tell them, I'm like, hey, if we can come in and have your CQF forms filled out, and we can have a couple people that you're already interested in getting insurance, how much is that going to help you out with activating you down the road? So some of the things that we talk about is, hey, who do you know that could benefit from insurance coverage that's in your circle immediately? Now, some people get confused because they don't know the difference between their hot market and their warm market. And they're like, well, I don't know, Kip. I don't think I can fill that out right away. There's a tool you can use. It's on Summit, and it's actually under the Recruiting 101. And it has actually a warm market memory jogger. So if you're having trouble thinking of who you want to pick for pretty much recruiting or producing, you can use that sheet, and it kind of gives you a kind of cheat sheet to figure out who you can talk to. That's what we use immediately. A good example of that, we had a lady named Kanisha Simpson, came to my agency, wrote 4 out of 4 weeks, her first month in the business, guys. 30 apps. She became SNA in 2 days, and just confirmed today she hit her slingshot bonus with SMORE. So if you guys want to know what that looks like, that's what it looks like.
Her first month being last month, being December, she started December 7, right? And from December 7 through December 31, she wrote 30 apps that first month. First month in the business. And she's an area manager for several Taco Bells, not a salesperson, didn't come here with a sales background. But the confidence that builds up when you're having that applications come from warm market, how much easier is it to invest in leads? How much easier is it for you to hit those dials, hit those 300 dials in a week? That's what it does. It builds the confidence. So we translate that right over. I think Tyler Jack has a really good program with Social Q where they're talking about posting on social media. Another thing that I have my team do is when you get licensed, just post and let people know. Don't be a secret agent. Let the community know what you do, because you never know who needs that coverage. Absolutely, man. And so that's going to create that attraction that, you're not being the weird insurance person. You're not coaching people to be the weirdo who people avoid at family get-togethers, or you see someone enter the bar and you go like this because they're going to talk to you about insurance. Like, you're not training your people to do that. You're just having them generate a list of individuals that could use this and put it out there into the world on socials, announcing some of the services and some of the awesome products that we have, that we are helping people out with, some of the value that we provide, and people are coming that way. And we got to give a shout out, Jamie Susi. We've stolen the 6 apps right away. We're just trying to be like the Susi and Reineke organization. So that's total steal. Everything we do is most of what we do is just copycatted. So appreciate that, Kip. So Misty, back to you. We've set the expectations. We've written their first app. How are you personally setting the right example to help people engage with clients the right way to maximize their ROI? So we want to go from new writer to SNA in a fast, as right away. let's not take 6 weeks to do it. Let's do it right away.
Mhm.
But then once we're doing that, how can we maximize our ROI with ASRs, which for if anyone new on the line, ASR is after sale referral. The cred for this goes over to Tim Penso organization and some of those leaders for bringing us in and including us in some of that. But the ASRs are an amazing way to maximize your ROI, because now we're talking about free hot leads.
Mhm.
And so talk with us through the process. I would love to hear some verbiage on how do you personally create ASRs? How do you gather ASRs and set that example for your people that they're able to do it as well?
So for me, yeah. First of all, I mean, I lead by example, so I get a ton of ASRs. So it's easy for my team to see that, to replicate that, because they just come in, they don't know any different. Those are the hottest leads, as you just said. Like, they're easier to close, they're free. Like, for example, I just wrote a lady or a guy gave me 3 ASRs last week. I've already written all 3 of the people he gave me, and that was an extra 6,700 in APV I got. That cost me nothing. And then I got more referrals from those ones. So you talk about getting extra revenue, keeping your costs lower. Those are perfect for new agents, definitely coming in the field. And to be honest, I was a little hesitant when Tim introduced us to that. And then I just started seeing some others do it. And I asked one day, I was like, do you know anybody else that would be interested in this coverage? And it was like, wow, they just gave me, and I was like, that was easy. Why have I been like putting this off? So, and I've never stopped. So literally for me, I'm just, as I'm going through it, I'm like, when we're done with the application, I'm like, that was pretty painless, right? I was like, so, you probably know a couple other people that could use this coverage. Who else do you know that could use this? We have a referral program, for every recruit that you send me that actually gets an active policy with us, we will send you a $25 gift card. So that will help you maybe pay 1 month of your premium as well. Again, no risk, because I'm only giving a gift card for the people who are approved, issued, and have a policy, who are now giving me additional referrals. And then I tell them after they give them to me, cool, can you shoot them a quick text and let them know I'm going to reach out, that I'm not the girl trying to sell them like solar panels or an extended car warranty. I don't want to be treated as a telemarketer. So just let them know I'm going to reach out to them today. And then if you want, just explain to them how easy the process was, so that they know the expectations too. And that's what they do, literally. And a lot of mine will even follow up, because now they want to know, like, what gift card are they getting? They're like, did you talk to this person? Like, my one guy was on me, like, hey, he was like, I offered him a recruiting position because he was like, this guy his wife is 20 years younger. This one has 2 little ones. Like, he needs this, like, stay on them. I'm like, I got you. But always ask for those referrals. You would be surprised how many you can get. And then if you have a week where it's skinny and you don't have the funds to purchase leads, that's your source. Some of my agents, when they start out, they're new, they don't have funds to invest a ton in leads, but they're writing apps because it just takes one to get that referral. Or even post on your social media, hey, I'm offering coverage, I'm licensed. Even if you don't need coverage, maybe you know somebody that does. Give them my contact. I have people tagging me on Facebook all day long, like, hey, reach out to Misty, she does insurance, reach out to Misty. Like, they're following feeds. So take advantage of that. That's free marketing.
Yeah, I love the text I got from you just a couple of days ago. You're like, I don't have time. I can't keep up with all of these like, you had so many, you're like, I don't have time to call these people back that are wanting insurance coming to you. Just by you doing the right thing and protecting them the right way, finding a good fit for them. And then they are going to trust you with their network, right? And you have built ASRs from ASRs from ASRs from ASRs. And so you can develop such a good level of engagement. We're talking about engagement and helping new individuals do this. You're training your team on how to do that, which creates a level of engagement from hire, right? From resume to hire to new writer to SNA and beyond, and as a long-term fit, right? Because are people going to stay here longer term if their ROI is lower or higher? That's rhetorical, right? Yeah, I hope everyone knows the answer to that one. Let's help individuals. Let's help our agents maximize their ROI. What does that do for agent retention? What does that do for agent retention when we're working with them? We're not putting it all in their court, like the strategies Kip talked about with helping them brainstorm and get it out there in the social world. to develop some of these warm market apps that we can write on, but then building into those networks and grabbing ASRs from ASRs and ASRs, and that creates massive long-term retention with agents because they're way more profitable than if they're only working leads. There's nothing wrong with only working leads. But if we can go from a 1 to 4 ROI, like most of our leads are going to provide for an average agent, to a 1 to 10, to 1 to 15, to 1 to 20, because we're using the leads to get into networks who we're then writing more leads off of. That level of engagement with clients is so important for new agents to really see this for, you know, the profitable machine it can be.
Absolutely. And then I follow up too with a thank you note. Everybody who gets a policy with me gets a thank you note. It's got 5 business cards in there. So let's hand these out. You know, thanks for your support. Thanks for allowing me to set up this protection for your family. It's one of the best assets you can have. You can order a bulk thing of thank you notes that are even Symmetry colors on Amazon for like $25. I mean, send your business cards out with a policy, a copy of their policy, and then people will randomly call you. I get people all the time randomly just call in, hey, I got your card from somebody, or I got your number. Can you help? Yeah.
Yeah.
Again.
As leaders on this line, as builders of agencies on this line or wanting to, we need to do the right thing. We need to set the right example, like Misty's talking about, and teach our people how to also be that right agents, that right agent, and create this massive ROI. Really good stuff there. Kip, I want to discuss with you. So we have, let's say I'm an agent. I'm Ian. I'm an agent who has not held up my end of the 3 commitments that Jared talked about last time: the massive action, the constant correction, the association. Let's say I'm dropping the ball and I'm making, you know, 100 dials a week, and, you know, 1 week's 50, 1 week's 100, 1 week's, you know, 200, 1 week's 299, the next week's 75. But I'm not really holding up my end of the bargain and to that verbal commitment. We want to address that early and often, right? We want to nip that in the butt right away, to have that right level of accountability. So what does that conversation look like if I'm a new agent and I'm failing on the massive action side? How are you going to approach that?
Right. First off, Ian, I'd be highly disappointed if we were having a one-on-one like that. But just kidding. just kidding. Well, first off, it just goes back to the expectations in the interview process. Ian, we talked about the 3 things it takes to win here, which is activity, it's the frequent communication, it's the association. Now, in my team, how we get our one-on-one set up is if you're doing those $300 per week, you're tracking your numbers on the counting account sheet and you're on the calls. That's how we do our individual one-on-ones. So there's really only 2 things that you can do, Ian, which is either we can lower your goals to match what you're doing, or you can raise up your activity and your resource level to match the goals that you set out for yourself. Which one would you like to do?
Well, I really don't want to lower my goals, Kip. I want to make what I want to make and achieve those. So I guess I need to increase the activity.
Got it. Okay. So let's go ahead and get a game plan around that. Figure out what we need to do. Set up a schedule that can pretty much allow that activity to happen, and we can make that happen for you. All right.
Awesome. And so you're working with that agent, Kip, to sometimes we need to help our people problem solve, right? When we hire people in, a lot of new agents that come to us and have found this to be a possible fit come from a W-2 background, right? And from the day we're born, Kip, we've been told what to do. Our parents told us what to do. Our teachers told us what to do. Our employers told us what to do. We've always been told what to do. And now we come here and there's all this freedom and flexibility, and people are looking to work from home, and they want the flexibility, they want the freedom here, but they don't know how to lead themselves. And so we have to lead, we have to be the right coach. Let's have those uncomfortable conversations at times to be a mentor, not a friend, right? Like, we know it's not going to work if they fail in those commitments, if they're not doing the work, or they're not plugging in, or they're not reaching out for help. Like, this is going to be a very tough, lonely island. They're a lone wolf on a lonely island. And so we need to have that level of accountability. And it starts with us having that conversation that you just had. It's a simple conversation early and often. As soon as we see them not holding that up, let's call them up, not call them out, but one-on-one, not in front of a group, one-on-one, having that not through text, but through a phone call, or even better through a Zoom, around what their goals are and how things are going right now, and let's level you up. And it might just be a simple problem solve as, let me help you work on that schedule. Let's figure out, maybe it's just time blocking off 3 hours here, 3 hours here, whatever that is. If they're not hopping on the calls, what do we need to do to get you on the calls? Do you not know when they are? Are they not programmed in your calendar? Maybe we need to set some alerts, whatever that is. So really good stuff. Speaking of calls, so in engaging in calls, and we'll close with this. One of those 3 commitments that we go over in a final interview is that association piece and the engagement as part of the team. It's like the charger for my iPhone. If I don't plug it into the source, it ain't turning back on after a while. And so we need to stress the importance of plugging into the system, to the team that is there to help you, so you can learn from other individuals. One of our first calls, so we're getting them on the national call, right? We're getting them on, we do a weekly sales meeting on Fridays. We get them into that. In our agency, we have a couple huddle ups a couple mornings a week. I know a lot of agencies have different type of agency calls and huddle ups and different things like that. And so we're getting them out that conference call schedule. We're suggesting that they plug them into their phone calendar. They put it on a weekly repeat, so it's programmed in there, and they're setting alerts for those. And if they're not on those calls, we're reaching out to them. One of the kind of the one-time call though that we run, and we do it every Friday morning at 9 Eastern time, is a new agent orientation call. I got to give the credit to this one, to the Jordan Hunt squad. They've been doing this. And I picked his brain on, what are you guys doing to activate people so quickly? And he told me about that call, and it's phenomenal. I use his basic system, just made it my own. But it's to introduce all of the new hires to other new hires. They start getting to know them. Any of the builders in our organization who have hired someone in who's going to be on the call, the builder is on that call. So people start getting to know some of the leaders in our organization. So we go through introductions, then we go through a couple of slides on what to focus on, what to be intentional about right out of the gates. Some of that is the counting account sheet. Some of that is the promotion guidelines, the level of leadership. A big part of it is the slingshot bonuses. Guys and gals, Symmetry has created a massive engagement piece for us with the slingshot bonuses plus some more. And so we walk through an example of, at 80%, we walk through 3 examples. If you place 5,000, what does that look like? Commission plus bonus. If you place 12,000, what does that look like? Commission and bonus. And if you place 20,000, what does that look like? Commission and bonus. And it's pretty neat. And there's engagement. People are using their calculators and figuring it out, and they're very excited to earn these bonuses. And so we use that slingshot to help them engage, because they want to earn the slingshot plus some more. And so they're ready to write warm market right out of the gates. They're ready to get their 6 apps in right away, because they understand what they can create through those slingshot bonuses. And so that's a huge part of our call. And then we end our orientation call with having that, we use GroupMe as, some use Band, some use Slack, some use Crew. Ours is GroupMe, our communication of choice. And we have them introduce themselves to our group on the GroupMe. We ask for engagement on there. And just stress the importance of being part of the team. And so that new agent orientation call in particular is really helping them launch and be intentional around the things that are going to help them get off to a fast start here, especially utilizing those slingshot bonuses to work up their cash flow, using a lot of what Misty and Kip talked about today, and those strategies. So we're out of time on that. Kip, I really appreciate it. Misty, very much appreciate it. Thank you too for pouring in and for being the leaders that you are in our organization and for this entire company. Thank you, Brandon, Casey, and Brian, and Todd and the whole home office again for allowing us the privilege to speak today.
Man, Ian, I would almost have to guess in your previous life, you might have been in education. You got a gift, buddy.
You're a better
job,
guesser than you are a football fan.
Great job, Misty. Always so grateful. And I hear so much about the both of you and Misty and Kip and the awesome things you're doing in your own organizations, and got to see you both on stage personally down at a Delaney event. I guess that was last year now, which was awesome. And so just tremendous gratitude for everything that you guys continue to pour back in within your own hierarchy and cross hierarchies and behind the scenes with B-Dubs and Summit. Just grateful for you all. And I will say this, I want to jump on the bandwagon with you, Ian. I personally think, after listening and talking to so many hierarchies across this company, a lot of you builders are missing the opportunity to capitalize on leaning into the slingshot bonus and the s'more bonus, and making sure there's clear understanding of exactly how that program works and why it's important to your new agents, and just how profitable of a fast start they can have in their new career, and if they're coming over to us from another organization. So great job. Appreciate you guys for being on. Appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you again, Todd. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Misty, Ian, Kip. Nice work.